The movie follows Tommy Riley, a high school student forced to relocate and live with his father after the death of his mother. Their new home is in a rough neighborhood overrun by gangs and violence. On his first day at school, Tommy quickly becomes a target for a group of bullies who try to intimidate him. They repeatedly order him to switch seats in class, and though Tommy initially complies to avoid trouble, he defies them when they push too far. Tension rises, but a teacher's arrival prevents an immediate fight. When Tommy returns home, two armed debt collectors show up at the door. They demand payment for his father's substantial gambling debts, which built up following his mother's passing. Though they leave without physical harm, they make it clear that Tommy's father owes them and time is running out. That night, Tommy's father returns, promising to fix things after securing a new, better-paying job in another city. For now, Tommy must live on his own. To ease his father's financial burden, Tommy takes a job as a dishwasher at a local diner owned by the parents of Dawn, a classmate. Trouble soon follows him to the diner when the bullies from school show up to harass him. Tommy tries to ignore their taunts, but when they push him down and mock him, he loses control and fights back, swiftly taking down two of them. Before the fight escalates further, an older man named Jack intervenes. Jack, a local boxing promoter, is impressed by Tommy's skills and offers him $600 to fight in an underground boxing match. Tommy counters, demanding $1,250, and Jack agrees. At the fight, Tommy meets Noah, his trainer, who advises him to treat the match as a battlefield since fairness is meaningless in the ring. Tommy's opponent, Black Death, is infamous for dirty tactics, and Noah warns him to stay sharp. Tommy also meets Romano, a classmate who warns him to watch for Black Death targeting his right hand. As the match begins, Black Death lives up to his reputation, elbowing Tommy and causing him to bleed while the referee looks away. Despite the foul play, Tommy pushes through and overwhelms Black Death, knocking him out and shocking the crowd. The next day, Jack's boss, Mr. Horn, summons Tommy to offer him more fights. Tommy refuses, only to learn that Horn controls the debt collectors and that Tommy's father has resumed gambling, now owing $15,000. Desperate to protect his father, Tommy reluctantly agrees to fight for Horn. Shortly afterward, Tommy crosses paths with Lincoln, a married classmate with children. Lincoln also fights illegally to support his family, and the two form a bond. Tommy watches Lincoln's match, where he faces a much larger opponent but wins through sheer determination. Curious about Horn's background, Tommy later learns from Noah that Horn was once a heavyweight champion who lost only one fight in his career. Horn got revenge in a rematch, permanently injuring his opponent, but his own career ended after a leg injury. Transitioning into promotion, Horn grew ruthless, exploiting young fighters like Tommy and Lincoln. Meanwhile, Tommy grows close to Dawn, who learns about his struggles and supports him. He also befriends Romano and Lincoln, training and growing as a fighter. However, tragedy strikes when Romano faces Shortcut, a fighter who cheats by using a mysterious substance on his gloves. Romano collapses in the ring and is later declared brain dead. Devastated, Tommy vows revenge and gets his chance to face Shortcut. When Shortcut tries the same dirty tactic, Tommy is ready, targeting his opponent's groin before unleashing a relentless attack, winning the match. Lincoln becomes Tommy's only close friend, but during training, he collapses due to symptoms of brain damage. Doctors warn Lincoln to rest for 60 days to prevent permanent injury, but Horn forces him into another fight, this time against Tommy. Tommy is furious and tries to stop the match, but Lincoln insists, hoping to impress Horn and advance his career. The fight begins, and Tommy refuses to fight back, avoiding Lincoln's head to protect him. Horn, angered by the lack of action, uses Dawn as leverage, threatening her safety unless Tommy fights seriously. To appease Horn and the audience, Tommy targets Lincoln's body while trying to convince his friend that Horn doesn't care about their lives. Eventually, Lincoln understands and stops the match, defying Horn's orders. Furious, Horn strikes Lincoln, knocking him out of the ring. At this point, Tommy challenges Horn to a bare-knuckle fight, with high stakes. If Tommy wins, his father's debt will be cleared. If Horn wins, Tommy must fight for him indefinitely. Horn, with his boxing experience, dominates the early part of the fight, mocking Tommy and showcasing his skills. However, Tommy uses his intelligence to turn the tide. He allows Horn to injure his own hand on a punch, then provokes him into anger, recognizing it as his weakness. Feigning a broken arm, Tommy catches Horn off guard with a devastating counterattack, unleashing a flurry of punches that knocks Horn out. With Horn defeated, Tommy and his father are finally free from debt. The film concludes with Tommy celebrating his hard-fought victory alongside Dawn and Lincoln, ready to leave the underground world behind and embrace a brighter future.